I want to share an experience that changed my life and my healing. I previously shared parts of my story. A quick sum up is that I dated a guy for about a year and was really oblivious to all the abuse going on until I took a class that taught me about rape and sexual assault. And previous to that, I had no idea. I thought that abuse came at the hand of a stranger. I trusted this person and believed him when he told me he would never hurt me. And it was devastating to discover what had been going on and that he had been lying to me. And it was even more, equally devastating when after I started learning what had gone on, I confided in some of my friends, and it did not go well. Maybe it wasn't the best choice to confide in friends that were also best friends with my abuser. But they told me that I was lying, and they told me it was my fault. And it made me, it hurt, obviously, and I was completely depressed for weeks. And I'd gone home to my family, and I didn't have the courage to tell my parents because of the reaction that those friends had had. I didn't have the courage to tell them that week. A few weeks later, I went home again, and it was conference weekend. In my church, twice a year, the leaders of the church broadcast conference. They give talks about different gospel topics. And I had listened to General Conference my whole life. And, there's a good chance a topic like this had been discussed, but since it didn't feel like it related to me, I didn't remember it. But this was the first time I'd ever remember hearing anything like this. And a talk came on, and I'd been questioning that whole week, like, should I tell my parents what happened to me? Should I tell them? And I was so scared. And I had finally kind of decided, like, no, I already learned this is just better to keep to myself. Like, I'm not going to tell them. And a talk came on. And it was very specifically given for victims of abuse. And he says this can relate to anybody who's been abused, but I want to talk to people who most especially have been victims of sexual abuse. And I just scooted right up to the TV and was just in shock. Like, I had never heard a topic like this talked about, and here was a man of God speaking right to my soul. And I had no doubt that this talk was just for me. 100% this was for me. And after that session was over, I told my parents I needed to talk to them. And I, had them in their room, and it was the most difficult words I've ever had to get out of my mouth was to say I was raped. And I just sat there, and the words were just stuck and couldn't come out, but I did finally find the courage to tell them. And in telling them, they helped me understand a lot that I still hadn't understood at that point. I felt like I finally had a support system, and that was what I needed to start healing. Because up until then, I hadn't told my bishop, I had told my professor, and that was it. That, believe me, I had told those friends who did not handle it so well. But my family, my parents became my support, and they, told me to go tell my bishop, and then my bishop became my support when I went back to school, and I had people around me who believed me, and I can't tell you how big of a difference that made. I feel like I started becoming me again. I started to get better, and healing takes a long time, and it takes a lot, but I feel like one of the most essential parts to healing is having someone on your side, having someone who believes you. And that talk just had everything in it that I needed. It was just an answer to prayer. Even I can't even say that I did not sit down and pray specifically, please have someone, give a specific talk or towards victims of sexual abuse in general conference. Like, I didn't say that. But God knew what I needed. God knew that my heart was in pain and that I was scared, that I needed someone, and He gave me what I needed. It was an answer to just thousands of prayers, like unspoken, and just the desires of my heart, and He answered them. And I just wanted to share that because this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, my church is again having their semi-annual general conference. They do it the first week of April and the first week of October. And I just want to invite you to participate. You can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on TV, you can listen to it on the radio. They have an app you can listen to it in. There's just LDS General Conference. Just Google it and there'll be 1,000 ways for you to listen to it or watch it. And it's life-changing. And I've been told this and been taught this many times, and I 100% believe that if you come to conference with questions and you listen and you have an open heart and an open mind, your questions will be answered, whether by something somebody says or by a thought or impression that you feel while someone is speaking or while the music is playing or something, that your questions can be answered. And I definitely have experienced this in my life. That is one of the most meaningful experiences I've had at General Conference, but there have been many, many more. So yes, please. I know, everyone struggles with something, and it's so wide and so varied, and the topics are so wide and so varied that they discuss. And even if it's not so specific that they specifically address the exact topic, because that has only happened that one time maybe for me, but there has been hundreds of other times when something else someone has said has made a big difference. And just maybe one line in a talk, and it's amazing. And so I invite you to tune in, and I hope that your prayers are answered too. Thanks, friends.